Hi.
And welcome to Wheel Takes, a podcast that is usually about the Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan and sometimes Brandon Sanderson. But right now, it's not about that. It is about the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins.
Yes.
I'm Allie, and I've read the entirety of the Hunger Games.
I am Gus. I'm a first-time reader. I've read through the second book, Catching Fire, Chapter 5. I was supposed to be able to read through Chapter 12, but some of you fuckers hate joy.
And male literacy. We're against male literacy.
I'm kidding.
A concept. A bunch of people reached out to me and went, 12 seems like a lot, no? And I went, all right, what do you suggest then, smarty pantses? And they said, I think Chapter 5 is the perfect stopping place.
You heard my joy at getting to read 12 chapters, and you said, no.
No.
Can't have this.
We don't want Gus happy.
That is not allowed. But I honestly, I will say, I think there's enough for us to talk about in these 5.
Yeah, it probably would have ended up being a two-parter episode anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's all well and good. Let me open
You're just getting some delayed gratification.
Can of water. I opened a can of water on our last episode, and Allie laughed.
Ooh, that was really satisfying.
Yes, Liquid Death, sparkling water. We're not sponsored by them, but I like the water.
Yet. This podcast is brought to you by Liquid Death.
It's literally not.
Do you want water that punches you in the face?
You know, their tagline is "Murder Your Thirst."
That's funny as fuck.
Isn't it great? Yeah. Here, he's gonna...
I heard their whole thing was they were like, okay, I'm going to create sparkling water that you can have at a bar.
I don't think that was the genesis of it, but I think
that's what I heard.
I thought that too, and then I read about it.
My cousin told me that.
Oh, well, maybe not. I don't know, but I know that's one of the things people like about Liquid Death.
I sound like a kid. Like my older cousin told me.
My dad's brother works at Nintendo, and he said that Zelda.
Yeah, well, my older cousin said that, but maybe they're wrong.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, take it away, Allie.
But I also heard that they paid people to drink it in bars.
Maybe they do. I would believe it.
And then throw as much of it in the trash as possible so that people would walk by trash cans and go, wow, there's a lot of Liquid Death in there. People must like that.
I would believe that's a heck of a guerrilla marketing strategy.
I mean, whatever works for you.
I suppose.
Now have some of your Liquid Death.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now that we've talked about water for 10 minutes, where to next, Allie?
Gus.
Yes.
Where did we leave off?
Everything was shitty. Somehow it got worse.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a broken record here because every time I read a chapter, I go, I didn't think it could get worse.
Gus, we're on book 1. We finished book 1. It's not going to get any worse from here.
I don't believe you.
Also, Petey's leaning his head on my knee.
He is. It's very cute. It's very cute.
Our doggy
He's asleep.
Petey.
And when he sleeps, he doesn't actually close his eyes.
No, that is creepy about him.
They just kind of roll up, and it's sort of weird.
They roll up, and then you just see little red slits.
Yeah, it's super creepy, actually.
I always try to take cute little aesthetic photos of him sleeping.
It's fucking scary.
It doesn't work.
It's really scary.
He's a really scary sleeper.
But, Allie, look, here's book 2. Do you want to ask me? Usually what I do when we get to a new book is I'll ask you about the cover art. I didn't do that with Winter's Heart. There's not a lot to talk about here. The Mockingjay pin is different. It looks like a bird for real.
Uh-huh.
It still has geometric designs on them. I can't talk about it anymore. There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Well, do you have notes for chapter 1?
I do have notes for chapter 1. Did I get them out? No. All right, chapter 1. God, I fucking hate Effie Trinket. She's the worst. They mentioned her and I was like, oh, god damn it, she's still here. Victory Tour, huh? That's a name. Oh no, Gale yearned for the mines because he works in a mine. Mm-hmm. And I remembered, oh, he has to.
Yeah.
Buttercup, the goat.
Your gradual obsession with cats that's happened over the course of our 10-year relationship is amazing.
I maintain that one of our cats gave me that parasite that makes you like cats.
Yeah, because out of nowhere, Gus did not grow up with animals.
No.
Has animals because I have animals.
Yes.
And like he loves them. But I think for a solid portion of our relationship was like, I love them, but why do we have them? Do you know what I mean? Like not in a mean way, just in a like, what is the point of this?
Yeah.
All they do is cause us to do stuff and spend money. And I'm like, yeah, because we love them. And we take care of them pristinely. But all of a sudden, the past 2 years, TikTok has made Gus obsessed with cats.
Or they gave me toxoplasmosis, which is possible, which is not impossible.
Yeah, because cats have some kind of parasite that makes you love cats.
There's a thing called Toxoplasma gondii, and
Toxoplasma gondii?
2 words. Yes, it is a microorganism.
Okay.
I'm probably getting this wrong, and don't believe exactly what I'm saying, because I'm probably not totally right. Look it up yourself. But apparently you can get this is one of the reasons why pregnant women aren't supposed to scoop cat litter, is because toxoplasmosis is what you get it's the illness that you get from Toxoplasma gondii, and it's normally like asymptomatic, does nothing, but it can be bad if you're pregnant, I think.
Yeah, I think that is true.
But like one of the side effects of this thing is some people get it, and after they get it, they become like the stereotypical crazy cat lady. That's ostensibly part of a side effect of toxoplasmosis.
Yeah, they start loving cats.
Yeah, it makes you like cats more.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true. I think it is. Look it up.
Pretty sure it is true. Either that or it's an internet fact.
That could be. Don't name Gail's family. That makes me nervous.
Yeah.
And I wrote, oh, we're just introducing a bunch of dudes, aren't we? Because we're meeting like these peacekeepers by name, and they're getting personalities. And I wrote, cousin. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Katniss's cousin.
Is he drinking Everclear? Jesus.
Yeah.
The white liquor, they're like, it like takes paint off boats. I was like, fucking hell. Okay. I just realized I stole that joke from Parks and Rec.
What?
Removing paint from boats. The Swanson liquor.
Oh, yes.
Who is this capital fuck? And then I wrote,
fuck.
Shit, it's the Prez.
It's the Potop.
Potop. Instead of POTUS.
The president of the United Pan Am.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Knock him dead. Potop.
The Potop.
I feel like, honestly, a lot of this we're going to be able to go through fairly quickly from a book perspective, because it's a lot of recap exposition.
Yes, it is a lot of recap. So Katniss is drinking, and she literally starts with, I clasp a flask between my hands. So we were being really judgy Judy about Haymitch.
It's tea. She's not drinking.
Shit-faced before noon.
I don't think that... Who
read this? It is 7 a.m.
When did you last read these chapters? Because it's a key difference between the Wheel of Time and...
It is 7 a.m. on a Sunday, on Mother's Day.
It's just liquid death.
Is absolutely
It's
liquid
death. It's just water.
No. I mean, I'd be there. But... please drink responsibly. Anyway, so she's going to have to travel from district to district to stand before the cheering crowds who secretly loathe me, to look down into the faces of the families whose children I have killed. What a fun time.
I hate it.
Any thoughts?
I hate this. I mean, it makes sense. I like that it's horrific, and that they put it exactly halfway between the games. Terribly cruel. Just when the sting might have started to wear off just a tiny bit for some of the more, distant friends and things like that. Suddenly it's like, hey, remember when we killed your fucking children? It's horrible.
Look, I won.
But we don't even get that yet.
After murdering your children.
First we get, this whole chapter is just this devastating backstory of exactly what not really exactly. You helped me guess this stuff, sort of. You were like, what do you think happens with Gale, etc. And I was like, well, it's gonna suck, and it does suck. And look, he kissed her, and I went, oh god damn it, it is a love triangle. And then by the end of these 5 chapters, she's engaged to be married, and I went, oh god, no, this is worse.
Yes.
But in a good way, worse.
Yeah, this is the love triangle done so right, because she can't ever know if she actually has genuine feelings for Peeta, and she's not free to explore her feelings for Gale at all, because that could get them all killed.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just kind of like, I guess I will just be unhappy.
Yeah. But what do we get in the recap here? She gets back from the game.
So she's hunting for Gale's family.
Oh, that right.
Because now Gale works in the mines.
Because Gale has to work in the, and that means he's not getting the Tesserae anymore for himself.
No, because he turned 18, so it was his last year.
Yeah. So now she's just, and he won't take any money.
No, he won't take money from her.
Which, I understand that.
I don't. Because it's not her money. It's the Capitol's money. I would be like, give me all that
I
shit.
think it's a moral thing or a pride thing.
No, I get that it's a pride thing. I'm just like, if it were me in a vacuum, I wouldn't take it. But if I've got 3 younger siblings to feed, I don't have pride anymore.
No, I understand taking it. I also understand why you wouldn't.
Katniss ate dirt bread.
She did eat dirt bread.
Burned dirt bread.
I've seen that scene in the movie. It's like right in the fucking mud.
It's in the. I'm like, you couldn't have tossed
Lob
it to
that
her.
shit, dude.
Just given it to her underhand. Like what? What? Thanks for the muddy bread boy, Peeta bread.
But I appreciate that she still hunts and that she's giving them all the food.
So Peeta's got younger brothers, Pillsbury and Rye.
No, it's that's better than anything I can come up with.
Anyway, roll and
bunt.
Bunt
Malark.
Bunt Malark.
Bunt Malark and
Bunt.
Bran.
Bunt. The B is said really carefully. That is the hardest working B in the world.
Yeah. But what else do we get here?
Okay. So, all right, we got
the cat.
The cat.
Yeah, we're reminded that she's nice.
And she says the cat's hideous.
Yeah.
So clearly toxic plasmosis has not affected her.
Not quite yet.
Not yet.
Maybe they don't have that in District 12. Oh, Gale's mom is named Hazel. We get more names. Anytime you name a character, I get concerned.
Oh, so I guess Gale's father was also killed in that same mine explosion.
Didn't we know that?
I don't know.
Oh, no, we didn't know that. No, okay.
Leaving her with 3 boys and a baby due any day.
Oh.
That sucks. Less than a week after she gave birth, she was out hunting the streets for work. Ouch. On the cooch. For real. You're still like bleeding.
I know.
And she started doing laundry.
Yeah.
And Gale was 14 and became the main supporter of the family, which does nothing to you mentally.
No. But really, so
very well adjusted, I'm sure.
She gives them the food, and then does she go straight home? Is there something she thinks about? Madge. She talks to she talks to a peacekeeper who gets named, and then she talks to a second peacekeeper who gets named. Yeah. And they remind us how lax...
Well, she first talks to...
I know why they do this.
She first thinks about Greasy Sue, who...
Great name. Greasy Say?
I'm pretty sure it's Greasy Sue. Wait, hold on.
I think it's Greasy Say.
No, you're right. It's Greasy Say.
Who read this week?
You did. I read this years ago. So she talks to Greasy Say, which I think is the meanest fucking thing you could call a person. Yeah. I'd be like, what the fuck you call me? Greasy Say? We couldn't come up with like nice soup lady name?
Yeah.
Anyway. She gets some liquor for Haymitch.
Oh, the white liquor, which I maintain is Everclear. She sells some of it to the
some peacekeeper
guard.
Comes up to him and says, shouldn't you look better?
What a twerp.
He's teasing her apparently. But yeah, he makes fun of her that she doesn't look better. Yeah, Gale's masquerading as her cousin.
That was so good. They got home and her mom was like, your cousins are here.
They're so excited to see you.
She's good at covering. She's very clever. Oh, and I think in one of these chapters, is this the chapter where we get her thinking about, like, I get my mom's depression coma now? No, that's next chapter, I think.
Yeah, I think not. But she does see, she goes to Haymitch, who is passed out drunk, and yells at him to get up.
And he tries to knife her.
He's got garbage all over the floor. Oh, yeah. So she wakes him up by dumping icy cold water on his head. A guttural animal sound comes from his throat. He jumps up, kicking his chair 10 feet behind him. Jesus Christ.
Have you ever been woken?
Flying.
Have you ever been woken from sleep by a gallon of ice water?
No. But it sounds unpleasant.
It sounds horrible.
Has that happened to you?
No.
I've never been woken up that way. No. I would, it sounds like some shit like my sisters would have done at some point in my life. Mm-hmm. If they wanted to die. Mm-hmm. Because you know this about me. I love sleep more than anything on this God's green earth.
It's true.
I, as someone with a chronic illness, had a lot of sleep problems for a long time before I was diagnosed. And so if I was asleep, that was a valuable sleeping time.
It's true.
And there have been times where like Gus has tried to wake me up like in a nice way.
At 9:30 in the morning.
And I have like straight up hissed at him.
It's great. It is really funny, actually.
But he jumps up, kicking his chair 10 feet behind him. So the chair goes fucking flying. And wielding a knife. I forgot he always sleeps with one clutched in his hand. That's really sad. I should have pried it from his fingers, but I've had a lot on my mind. Spewing profanity, he slashes the air a few moments before coming to his senses.
Yeah.
He wipes his face on his shirt sleeve and turns to the windowsill where I perch, just in case I need to make a quick exit. Trauma.
Mm-hmm. All of them. They're all trauma buddies, and Pete is there too.
And Pete is there too in the trauma.
He's also a trauma buddy,
it's a
as
trauma
we learn
party.
later. He's painting his trauma, and it's horrific.
Healthy.
Yeah,
Actually,
I mean, it is,
maybe.
actually, yes.
Like art therapy?
Yes, that's a thing. She's just hunting, which is not also, I probably also better than drinking.
Oh, so Peeta comes, and they're really stiff with each other, and Haymitch says, "Brr."
He's not stiff
You
anymore.
two have a lot of warming up to do before showtime. No, do not cut that. Do not cut that.
It was horrible.
Do not cut that, you fuck. No, that was funny as hell. Stand by it. Can't believe it calls you fuck.
You can call me whatever you want.
You fuck is a loving term.
I know. Keep it rolling. It's good.
Katniss takes her shoes off by the door. She leaves them on the mat because she's like, I will not bring white nonsense into this household.
And her mom is like, well, you're back from the walking around the buildings in a legal way that you did.
Yeah, she's like, I'm so happy you were taking a legal walk in the legal streets. And she's like,
Ma, what the fuck?
Cool.
There's some son of a bitch. I did not expect it to be the literal goddamn president.
Yeah,
I was surprised, to say the least, that it was the literal fucking president. I was like, oh, it'll probably be like, I don't know, we're going to get a mini-boss first.
Just seems like it's something he'd delegate, you know what I mean?
Yes, but then I remembered this is a YA novel, and I mean that not as a criticism, and it was like, okay, let's just make it really apparent that this is a big fucking deal right out the gate.
Sure. I mean, what did the president have to do anyway?
Apart from like...
Smell like roses?
Smell like blood and roses, apparently, which is a great olfactory metaphor.
I know, isn't it? Because like roses don't smell unblood-like, if that makes any sense.
I don't agree with
There's like
that.
a sticky sweetness.
They don't smell like blood.
No, but they're not like... It's not like... blood and gardenias, like that's a very different scent.
No, yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like roses have a cooler scent to them. Does this make any sense? Like they're the flower that smells the most blood-like to me.
All right.
That's like a common flower. No?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it that way, but I'd take your word for it.
I've had many years to reflect on this series.
You have. You read these a long time ago.
I think about it a lot. So, her mom says, her useless mom says, someone's here to see you. And, she thinks that Cinna came really to help her get ready. Well, she doesn't actually think that because she's like, she notices that she's like super anxious. And she says, no, Katniss, it's this way, please, Miss Everdeen. And Katniss is trying to play it off. Probably more instructions for the tour, she says, like over her shoulder at her mom, trying to keep her calm. Go right in, says the Capitol man who has followed me down the hallway. I twist the polished brass knob and step inside. My nose registers the conflicting sense of roses and blood. A small white-haired man who seems vaguely familiar is reading a book. He holds up a finger as if to say, give me a moment. It's like, I'm at a really good part of ACOTAR.
Yeah, I want to know what book he's reading.
ACOTAR.
Is it ACOTAR?
It's of course. He's like, I need to know what's up with Tamlin.
It's like, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is happening in Gardens of the Moon. That's a Malazan joke. That's where I am lately.
Then he turns, and my heart skips a beat. I'm staring into the snake-like eyes of President Snow.
Hate this guy. All right, notes.
All right, give me chapter 2. Lay it on me, guess.
All right, here we go. Haha, get fucked, Seneca Crane. He got killed.
Fucking bodied.
You have no access to information about the mood in other districts. Yeah, that makes sense. And then I wrote, punch him in the dick.
Punch him right in that dick.
She doesn't.
The rosy, bloody dick.
Everyone buckle. Everyone buckle up. It's love triangle time. Gus, you didn't know yet.
You did not know.
All right, take it away, Allie. Ask me some questions about some things.
Chapter 2, Gus.
Yes? You good? You froze?
I froze because I was looking at what to read. Okay, in my mind, President Snow should be viewed in front of marble pillars hung with oversized flags. That's some Nazi shit right there, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's jarring to see him surrounded by the ordinary objects in the room, like taking the lid off a pot and finding a fanged viper instead of stew. What could he be doing here? So why do you think the president was like, this is worth my time?
I mean, he's intimidating and terrifying.
I'm going to traipse into Bumblefuck.
It's a show that he is not afraid. He is not personally intimidated, right? He's going, fuck that. I'll just go there myself. Therefore,
I'm going to show her how fucking serious this is. Yeah.
It is also serious. It is also, you are a big high priority. If you fuck around, I'm going to illustrate just how much I personally know about your predicament. So you know it's not like, oh, it's the bureaucracy. They might forget. No, it's me, the president. I'm the president. It's me. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna fuck you up if you don't fix this shit. I mean, let's be real. He calls himself president. I'm assuming this is not an elected position.
Oh no, this is
I don't
very
think this is a representative democracy.
But this is so unfair of you to say about the Capitol. Just because they're a totalitarian regime does not mean they don't have fair elected officials.
I don't think they have fair elected officials. I think he's been president since he was like 30. He's the guy.
So he's the president in the same way that like every dictator is president, right? Where they're like, we hold an election every year, and he runs unopposed just cause everything's fine.
Yeah.
And every vote is for him. An entire country, no dissenters at all.
We just need you all to come sign your ballots. You don't actually have to fill them out. We'll take care of that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And he tells her I love the way he opens this.
So if he's made sorry.
I was going to say, I love the way he opens this. Like the first thing that he says is like, I'm not going to lie to you if you don't lie to me.
He says, I think we'll make this whole situation a lot simpler by agreeing not to lie to each other. What do you think?
Which is great. Because she's juggling, like, what does he know? What does he know? What does he know? And he's just like, I know everything. Fucking drop the bullshit. I know what you were doing. I know why you did it. I know what you've done since.
Yeah. And she also is like, if he traveled all the way here, I'm in serious trouble. And if I am, so is my family. That's not good.
And everyone she cares about.
Literally every single person she cares about, Gale is questioning his decision to call himself her cousin. Am I right?
Oh, but he knows.
What?
Snow knows.
That
they're not related. He absolutely knows. And he knows about the kiss.
Well, I bet there's at least like a birth certificate. And I bet you could do a little genealogy digging, which I'm sure he's made it his business to do.
Yeah, he seems very personally invested.
In Katniss?
Yeah.
You don't say. He says, my advisors were concerned you would be difficult. But you're not planning on being difficult. Are you? No. That's what I told them.
I gotta say, I think it's I appreciate and think it's very realistic that she is basically shitting her pants for this entire thing.
I'd be shitting my pants.
I know, but I think it the temptation here would be for her to
my white pants would be khaki brown at the end of it.
I think the temptation here could be to write her I'm not scared of you. I'm not gonna show that I'm afraid, but she's just oh, we're all gonna die. It's so clean. It's so realistic. It's so good. She's oh, we're all gonna die. This is bad. Yeah. This is so bad, and I have to do it exactly right. Of course, she immediately fucks up in District 11, right out of the fucking gate. Does it, truly cocks it up.
Good
for her.
Couldn't have cocked it up more.
Really one of the worst things she could have done.
She concocted that real good.
It was so bad. But sorry, I cut you off. Please run me through this.
So... He says, I said, and that's what I told them. I said, any girl who goes to such lengths to preserve her life isn't going to be interested in throwing it away with both hands. And then there's her family to think of. Her mother, her sister, and all those cousins. So he invites her to sit. I have a problem, Miss Everdeen. A problem that began the moment you pulled out those poisonous berries in the arena. That was the moment when I guessed that if the game makers had to choose between watching Peeta and me commit suicide, which would mean having no victor and letting us both live, they would take the latter.
Just in case you're just joining us now, folks.
If the head game maker, Seneca Crane, had had any brains, he'd have blown you to dust right then. But he had an unfortunate, sentimental streak. So here you are. Can you guess where he is?
He's dead. Big dead.
Yeah, he's dead as fuck.
Big dead.
He's dead as fuck. After that, there was nothing to do but let you play out your little scenario. And you were pretty good, too, with the love-crazed schoolgirl bit. The people in the capital were quite convinced. Unfortunately, not everyone in the districts fell for your act. This, of course, you don't know. You have no access to information about the mood in other districts.
I was right. They can't communicate at all.
No, they can't communicate at all. In several of them, however, people viewed your little trick with the berries as an act of defiance. Not an act of love. And if a girl from District 12 of all places can defy the capital and walk away unharmed, what is to stop them from doing the same? What is to prevent, say, an uprising? There have been uprisings. Not yet. But they'll follow if the course of things doesn't change. And uprisings have been known to lead to revolution.
Do it.
Do you... Do it!
Do it!
I love it for you! Go, Betsy, go! Queen behavior! Revolution! Do you have any idea what that would mean? Buzzkill Snow over here. How many people would die? What conditions those left would have to face?
You would.
Probably.
Bud.
Whatever problems anyone may have with the capital, believe me when I say that if it released its grip on the districts for even a short time, the entire system would collapse.
See, I just don't believe you. I just don't think... I don't, there are some series where they do oh no, we got rid of the main thing and now we don't know what to do with what we got. I just don't think much is worse than you whistled at a town hall, so we shot you in the dome. I just don't think that there's a lot worse than that. It's
What? Gus? It could be so much worse.
Like in Last of Us, for instance, not to be specific with any spoilers, don't worry. But Last of Us has the thing where it's okay, the oppressive regime sucks, but it's better than being a zombie. So maybe we should live with it, maybe? Is that better? I don't know. Whereas this, it's just you've got somewhat climate-ravaged America and a bunch of rich guys in Vegas who run everything. Capital's in Vegas, right? Ish?
Yeah, ish. Somewhere Nevada-y.
Yeah.
It must be very fragile if a handful of berries can bring it down.
That's her, isn't it? Oh, I was wrong.
That's my Katniss voice.
She does snark a little bit.
Don't I sound like Katniss when I say things?
You sound just like Jennifer Lawrence.
Snow I'm doing the Gus thing where I'm being a voice actor.
You're crushing the game.
Do not see my efforts. I give Peeta a little rasp. No? You don't see it? You don't see it?
Fucking crushing.
I'm not the professional actor.
You are. All right, go ahead.
It is fragile, but not in the way that you suppose. There's a knock at the door and the Capital Man sticks his head in. Her mother wants to know if you want tea.
That is funny.
I'm spilling tea right now.
I like she asked a good question. She's like, why am I alive?
Yeah.
And
so
again, he's like, because
she
it'd be way too
immediately
fucking
is like,
obvious.
yeah, why don't you just kill me now? Publicly? That would only add fuel to the flames. Arrange an accident then. Katniss, why are you giving him tips?
It's not a good idea.
Giving him tips. She's like, just fucking kill me. What's the problem? I killed like 12 teenagers back in that arena. Yeah. I'm one teenager. Do the math, bub. So he says, who would buy it? No one. No, not one person. Not you, if you were watching. Then just tell me what to do and I'll do it. If only it were that simple. So, you know, the talk turns to Peeta because the cookies are clearly made by him. And he says, Peeta, how is the love of your life?
I don't know, man. We don't really talk.
At what point did he realize the exact degree of your indifference?
And then the motherfucker dips a cookie in his tea? What is wrong with you?
Frosted cookie.
What the fuck?
That's unhinged.
If you're someone listening who does that...
It's a cookie covered in frosting.
I don't know why.
And he stuck it in his tea.
Is that a thing? That's weird.
I mean, I could see sticking like a shortbread cookie.
Yeah, but not like a frosted sugar cookie.
We both said different kinds of cookies.
I think they both work. A shortbread would work. A gingerbread would work.
Yeah,
but I would.
But a frosted cookie, like a cookie,
like,
you get frosting chunks in your tea.
A chocolate chip cookie with like soft chocolate chips in your tea, and then the chocolate. Yeah.
But chai tea though.
Oh, that's different. That's true.
Chai tea exists.
Yeah.
Chai tea works well with lots of cookies, I feel.
I don't have a lot of chai tea.
You don't have... We have chai tea in our house right now.
I don't drink a lot of tea.
I fucking love chai tea.
I'd mostly drink coffee.
Chai tea's amazing. You're missing out. Honestly, coffee all tastes the same. Coffee is the same thing.
No, it's not. It's close.
It is burned beans.
Yes.
Bleh.
It is literally...
They all taste the same. Coffee's all the same.
Tea is hot leaf juice.
Tea is hot leaf juice that tastes different. Leaves taste different. Burned beans all taste the same. You've had one burned marshmallow. You've had every burned marshmallow.
Well, you can burn it more. You can have a golden brown versus a crispy motherfucker versus the Anakin marshmallow. We do actually need to take an ad break. So let's do
Welcome back from the coffee ad.
I didn't say
fuck!
So let's do that real quick. Folgers, put your cup of coffee. Don't put it in the microwave because it tastes bad. Have you ever microwave coffee? It tastes like shit.
No, because I can't drink coffee because it makes my soul leave my body.
It really does. It's so
You're like,
funny.
That's a feeling I crave.
Like, yeah, you poor thing. All right, President Snow's being an asshole.
So President Snow's being a dickhead. Oh, okay.
Oh, he brings up Gale,
and then he
right?
and then he goes, "How's the handsome cousin?" Fuck, Katniss, you could not be less subtle. Okay.
What? They only go off into the woods alone every Sunday.
He says, "Him I can easily kill off if we don't come to a happy resolution."
I appreciate that this guy doesn't mince words.
You aren't doing him a favor by disappearing into the woods with him each Sunday. What are you doing in the woods, Katniss? Mass.
It's a druidic.
We're activating the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Is that what they call it?
Holy Spirit. Certain kind of Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
You're going to have to give context for that,
Allie. Activate. Well, that's a TikTok sound.
Yes, it is.
Because some gal was on Family Feud and she starts to like do the guessing, right?
And then she just stops
and she goes, hold up, that. And then does that for a while.
And doesn't she then completely whiff?
I hope that's the conclusion. I hope that's what happened. I don't know if that's what happened. I actually think maybe she won, but I hope that she completely whiffed because that would be so funny. There's nothing funnier than when people whiff on Family Feud. And would I whiff on Family Feud? Yes. That's why I don't go on Family Feud.
Likewise.
Yeah, I don't do games because anomia hits me so hard all the time. Like, just in normal conversation, I feel so much pressure that anomia hits me. Mm-hmm. So he says he could totally kill Gale anytime. Do you think they do that kind of shit?
Yes.
Do you think they've killed people's families?
Yes. Of course they do. Yes. Yes.
President Snow?
Why does the
so
driven
nice.
Snow? He's so lovely. No. He's a
so nice.
slaughtering maniac. The only person who does more than him is Rue. Yeah.
Oh, that was your best take.
I love it.
Whenever I try to convince someone to listen to our Hunger Games episodes, I'm like, listen to what Gus thought at the beginning because it's so amazing.
It's so wrong. I love it.
It's the best thing that's ever happened on this podcast. So she's curious. She's confused as to how he knows about that. Katniss.
Katniss. Girl. Come on.
And is like curious what else he knows.
You will never have another private moment in your life.
No, unfortunately, that's true. I mean, like, do you think that they're watching them at all times? Like, do you think they've got cameras in their house? Probably.
And because they were pre-built, it's not her 14-year-old dream house.
I have been watching. You haven't fucked Peeta once. Anyway, so that's why he's on to them.
And then we talk about, like, she didn't get to see Gale for, like, how long?
Wait, no, so she got home from the games. It was several weeks before she saw Gale. First, there was the obligatory celebrations, a banquet for the victors that only the most high-ranking people were invited to. A holiday for the whole district with free food and entertainers brought in from the capital. Parcel Day, the first of 12 in which food packages were delivered to every person in the district. Oh, I mean, it's good. Nice. And it's because you killed people, but it's nice to see all those hungry kids in the seam running around waving cans of applesauce, tins of meat, even candy. Like, you know that the kids grow up with that and they're like, oh, like that was the best day ever. And you're like, that's fucked up. Well, do you also think that maybe it makes them kind of go like, the kids will go like, I want to volunteer when I grow up.
It's all propaganda.
Yeah, it's all fucking propaganda. So that I can do cool stuff for my district. So she says it was one of the few times, and they'll receive another parcel once a month for a year. And it was one of the few times she actually felt good about winning the games. Do you think they double it for her and Peeta? Probably not.
No, of course not. It's by district, right?
Yeah, they fucking suck. Yeah, and then there were cameras, and they had to kiss a lot in front of an audience, just super uncomfortable. Then she took her family and settled into their house in Victor's Village. And everything kind of went back to normal. And
it's like several months later, she finally goes out for a hunt day, and she just like waits in the woods, and she's like, maybe he's not coming, and then he does.
Yeah, she waited for 2 hours. It's really a lovely
scene. It's a really beautiful scene, and they hunt and they just talk like nothing has changed, or they try to, and then suddenly he kisses her, and I went, but also,
Yeah, so he appears in the forest, and she says, after she waited for 2 hours, without even thinking, I jumped up and threw my arms around him, making some weird sound that combined laughing, choking, and crying. He was holding me. What are you at the LA Phil? So we have to explain. So recently there was an article that came out. Gus and I go to the LA Philharmonic sometimes.
Yeah.
Every now and then, because we like the symphony. And one of the times we didn't go, apparently a lady had an orgasm in the audience.
According to the Los Angeles Times, a woman
had a movement during a movement.
Made a sound that many people assumed was a screaming orgasm.
Yeah.
People also posited perhaps she had a narcoleptic episode, fell asleep, and suddenly woke up. That is also possible.
I choose to believe it was an orgasm. because she had a music-gasm.
And the best thing is they just kept playing.
Yeah, and my other favorite thing about it is that all of the people interviewed in the article were like, isn't that lovely that music can do that for people? Like, isn't it lovely that someone enjoyed that much? And so literally we went to the symphony the other day, and Gus and I, like, every now and then would like lean over each other and go, oh. Like, we were the worst people in the audience. Like, we were being really quiet about it.
Very quiet.
We were not being disrespectful at all, because we would never be disrespectful at the symphony. But every now and then, like, something would happen that I was like, oh, that was really awesome. And then I'd just lean over. And like, I was just dying. It was just dying. So anyway, now every time we get really excited about something, we're like, oh, I mean, it's no LA Phil, but anyway. So then suddenly, as I was suggesting I take over the daily snare run, he took my face in his hands and kissed me. Both of us are so disappointed, probably in part because he didn't ask.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. I was completely unprepared. Were you? That boy was dropping science left, right, and center, but whatever.
She was in denial. It's fine.
You would think that after all the hours I'd spent with Gail, watching him talk and laugh and frown,
it's really beautiful the way she writes about this.
that I would know all there was to know about his lips. But I hadn't imagined how warm they would feel pressed against my own, or how those hands which could set the most intricate of snares, could as easily entrap me. I think I made some sort of noise in the back of my throat. Again, is she at the LA Phil? And I vaguely remember my fingers, curled tightly closed, resting on his chest. Anyway. Then he let go and said, I had to do that. At least once. And he was gone.
And
that was so dramatic of him.
President Snow was like, time to die.
And he high-fived himself. He was like, that was fucking awesome.
Great wording. Great. Crushed that shit.
Nice. Good walk-away moment. Don't linger. Oh, and she smelled like oranges. Katniss smells literally everybody. Mm-hmm. Katniss is like, I'm a sniff every motherfucker in my life.
Who is she? Perrin from the Wheel of Time?
Who is she? Perrin?
No, that's Peeta.
Peeta is Perrin.
Yeah.
And you are both of them. Which is unfortunate because we have 2 episods entitled Perrin Slander Hour.
But that's a different series. It's neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. Oh, and it's like, it's pointless to compare with the many kisses I'd exchanged with Peeta. I still hadn't figured out if any of those counted. That's real.
It's hard.
Oh, poor Peeta. Okay. And poor Katniss. And poor everybody. Everybody's sad. Anyway, thoughts about the kiss?
It's really well written.
I mean, right?
It's yeah, obviously you have the problems of yes, I know I should have asked, etc. And I get it. It's really well written. And I get it. And I get why he was like, oh, fuck. I mean,
I get it in this context because it's like...
Yes. We just have to do this every time anything happens.
Yeah.
So, yes. But all that having...
be like, don't grab random girls' faces and kiss them.
But all that having been said...
There was emotional context.
All that having been said, okay, we've talked about it. It's really sweet and confusing and devastating and sad because she's like, oh, and it's like, this could be a beautiful thing, but no, it can't fucking be a beautiful thing because it can't lead to a beautiful fucking thing because the fucking fuckers of the fucking Capitol, god damn it, it's all ruined. There's only so many times I can say it's all ruined.
Yeah.
Then we flash back to the present.
This all flashes.
Do I have a flashback sound effect? Hold on.
You and your toys. Back to the present. This all flashes through my head in an instant as President Snow's eyes bore into me on the heels of his threat to kill Gale. How stupid I'd been to think the Capitol would just ignore me once I'd returned home. Maybe I didn't know about the potential uprisings, but I knew they were angry with me. Instead of acting with the extreme caution the situation called for, and Haymitch told you to have, what had I done?
Hey, she's a teenager, right?
And this is why the world should be saved by adults. From the president's point of view, I've ignored Peeta and flaunted my preference for Gale's company before the whole district.
Yeah.
And by doing so, made it clear I was, in fact, mocking the capital. Now I've endangered Gale and his family and my family and Peeta too by my carelessness. Excuse me. Please don't hurt Gale. He's just my friend. He's been my friend for years. That's all that's between us. Besides, everyone thinks we're cousins now, and that is decidedly unhot. I'm only interested in how it affects your dynamic with Peeta, thereby affecting the mood in the districts. It will be the same on the tour. I'll be in love with him just as I was, just as you are. Just as I am. Only you'll have to do even better if the uprisings are to be averted. She doesn't.
She really does
This
worse.
tour will be your only chance to turn things around. I know. I will. I'll convince everyone in the districts that I wasn't defying the capital, that I was crazy with love. She doesn't. Aim higher in case you fall short. What do you mean? How can I aim higher? Convince me. By the way, I know about the kiss.
Oh, no.
How do you know?
Everything is...
Oh!
Oh, I scared the dog. I dropped
Scared
my
the
can.
dog. You scared the dog. He's okay,
All
baby
right, he's
boy.
already asleep again.
He's already back asleep. He was like, what? Oh, Dad's being weird again. So anyway, that's also, President Snow high-fived himself on the way out. He was like, that was the perfect line to end on. Absolutely sinister. Thank you, me, for being awesome. Suzanne Collins, once again, flipping a table over, doing some jumping jacks.
Pole vaulting out of her living room.
Feeling like she's at the LA Phil.
Yeah, boy. All right, chapter 3. I've got some notes. The smell of blood is a great olfactory metaphor here.
Mm-hmm.
Throwback to Mrs. Everdene's depression spiral. We get that brought up.
Throwback Thursday.
What in the blue fuck is a quarter quell? Oh no, it's a special season. God damn it, Jeff Probst.
Yeah.
They do reruns. What the fuck?
We knew that they did that.
I forgot.
No. It's not that we knew. It's like you and I were like, oh my God, do you think they do reruns like on Survivor where they're like, next time on Survivor? Or
They
like
re-air
previously on.
They re-air old seasons. Not seasons. They re-air old games.
Yeah.
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 Like they do, like you could watch it on streaming. You can watch Survivor on streaming.
Yeah.
You can watch old seasons.
Balenciaga by Everdeen. And then I wrote, she has to performatively marry Peeta. The capital ruins everything. And I didn't even know yet.
Well, and how do they tell the capital kids that get born, how do they make them pick their faves and stuff every year?
Yeah.
I bet they've got merch.
I'm sure they have
For like your favorite winners.
No! God, please, no! No!
I'm like, listen, if we're going full reality here,
I'm sure they've
they've definitely got merch for their favorite winners.
Yeah.
So, do you think that there are winners with like different body modifications?
Oh, I'm sure there are. I'm sure some people have like fucking metal arms, I'm sure some people, like, it's cyberpunk, right? It's very cyberpunk in its aesthetic. I'm sure some people have tattoos. She talks about breast tattoos. I'm sure some people have funky looking eyes. I'm sure some people have like a tail or some bullshit like that.
Why would they have a tail?
It just seems like something somebody in this world would do. They'd just be like, I was sneaky like a panther, so I got a panther tail. That's the kind of thing that it seems like
That'd be
a winner
fucked up.
would do. Yeah, but it seems like
So
they would
you
do
think
that.
that they would body modify people based on their performance in the
Of course
game?
they would. Absolutely they would.
That would suck.
Yeah, no.
Because then you're constantly forever, like, it's etched on your body what you've done in the games.
Especially, I think, if you were a very popular winner and they want to trot you out. Yeah, like, if Katniss's thing had been that she was a sharpshooter, I don't know, weld a fucking monocle into her face, right? Or like a, like a visory kind of Star Trek thing
Yeah,
over her
so then
eye.
she's like, cool.
Yeah.
So then the kids with the merch will like buy more merch.
Absolutely. No, I fully expect that winners do shit like this.
And so that, then, you get, clout or whatever for your face.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be gross. We'll see if that pans out. The smell of blood. It was on his breath. What does he do? Drink it? Katniss is so
She's
fucking
funny as fuck.
I imagine him sipping it from a teacup, dipping a cookie into the stuff and pulling it out dripping red.
This guy with his cookies.
And his fucking frosty cookies in tea.
In a tea.
In tea.
Somebody's going to DM us and be like, it's actually a really standard thing in a lot of
I
the
know.
world.
That's the kind of shit that.
Sorry.
They'd be like, that's actually really insensitive.
I hope
I'm
it's
sorry
not.
if that's true.
Sorry.
But I just picture there being like frosting chunks in the tea, and that would be kind of gross.
Sounds so good, man.
Right? And then like, it's like drinking backwash. Am I wrong?
Well, you do put sugar in tea, and you do put milk in tea.
I know, but do you want clumps of like frosting in your tea?
No, but maybe some people do.
Maybe they do. I guess, you know what? The world is big and there's 6 billion of us.
Next episode is going to be called The Tea Controversy.
The tea controversy. And we're like, we're really sorry. We didn't.
All right. All of our listeners in the United Kingdom
how
reached
many,
out to
yes,
us.
all the people in the United Kingdom reached out. We're like, actually, that's sacred here. So she's got to prove to the country beyond any shadow of a doubt that she loves Peeta Malark. I can't do it.
End of book.
I'm not that good. End of book. I can't do it. Fuck it, kill them all. Peeta's the good one, the likable one. He can make people believe anything. I'm the one who shuts up and sits back and lets him do, excuse me, as much of the talking as possible. So me to you. But it isn't
No.
Peeta who has to prove his devotion. It's me. And she thinks that she can't tell her mom about any of this.
No.
And I find that very
She can't tell
relatable.
anybody. She can't tell. She only tells Hamish, I think.
Yeah, she tells her mom everything's fine.
And this whole chapter is pretty much just her getting primped. Like her fucking prep
and
team shows up.
Here's the thing you wanted to talk about. Since I've been home, I've been trying hard to mend my relationship with my mother, asking her to do things for me instead of brushing aside any offer of help, as I did for years out of anger, letting her handle all the money I won, returning her hugs instead of tolerating them. My time in the arena made me realize how I need to stop punishing her for something she couldn't help. That's real. Specifically, the crushing depression she fell into after my father's death. Because sometimes things happen to people and they're not equipped to deal with them.
That's true.
That's fucking real. Like me, for instance, right now.
And the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. I don't think anyone is prepared for this ever.
No.
Oh, and her mom did her a real solid when someone asked my mother what she thought of my new boyfriend, and she replied that while Peeta was the very model of what a young man should be, I wasn't old enough to have a boyfriend at all.
That was good.
She followed this with a pointed look at Peeta. There was a lot of laughter and comments like, somebody's in trouble from the press. Oh my God. Blah, blah, blah. And Peeta dropped my hand and sidestepped away from me. That didn't last long. There was too much pressure to act otherwise. But it gave us an excuse to be a little more reserved than we'd been in the Capital. And maybe it can help account for how little I've been seen in Peeta's company since the cameras left.
Good on ya.
So yeah, they're like, I'm not going to tell my mom or Prim. I'm not going to tell Gail.
It's gotta be Hamish, who admittedly would understand it.
Yeah.
It's really wild how quickly she, Hamish, and Peeta have become
A unit.
yeah.
Well, they're trauma bonded.
I know. It's wild, though.
Well, it's kind of like, it's not nice, but it's nice that that Peeta and Katniss have Hamish. Before this, Hamish had no one.
Yep.
That's rough, buddy. You know. Yeah, and she's worried also that Gale's already so angry and frustrated with the Capitol that she thinks he's going to arrange his own uprising, which would be kind of bad.
Yeah, but, go for it.
There are still 3 people I might confide in, starting with Cinna, my stylist. But my guess is Cinna might already be at risk.
Yes.
And I don't want to pull him into any more trouble by closer association with me. Then there's Peeta, who will be my partner in this deception. But how do I begin that conversation? Hey, Peeta, remember how I told you I was kind of faking being in love with you? Well, I really need you to forget about that now and act extra in love with me, or the president might kill Gale. I can't do it. Besides, Peeta will perform well whether he knows what's at stake or not. That leaves Hamish, drunken, cranky, confrontational Hamish, who I just poured a basin of ice water on. As my mentor in the games, it was his duty to keep me alive. I only hope he's still up for the job. She takes a bath. She thinks some more.
And then the fucking designers come in and are the worst. But, the passive worst, you know?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, girl, you bit your nails.
Yeah. Venia is upset about
just
the
tell me
eyebrows.
you didn't do anything to your hair. And it's like, you...
And the nails. And they said, really, Katniss, you could have left me something to work with. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, I'm going through trauma. I didn't have time to pluck my fucking eyebrows. And I find that relatable. And she said, no one's cut it. Fucking relax.
She just had it braided, Jennifer Lawrence style.
And then they start talking about shit. They're like, in your very first year of being a victor, you get to be a mentor in a quarter quell.
And this is when all my alarm bells went off. And I said, a fucking, what the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm.
And I do have thoughts, which I don't think I put in my notes. Do we want to talk about them now or later?
Let's talk about them now.
All right.
But first, we're going to break for ads. Tell us your theories, Gus.
All right, so it's a special season.
Okay.
Right? And the last one was double tributes, right?
Yeah.
Last time was?
Which was won by our very own
Hamish
Abernathy.
Good name. If anything, this makes me more confident in my theory from last book. Because last book, I said this book, these 5 chapters spent a lot of time talking about being a mentor and, you know, your new role. Now that you're a winner, this is what life is like for winners. And you are going to have to, it's so great. You get to mentor someone in the quarter quell. So it seems like we're really setting up Katniss in this new, slightly above the table role as a mentor. And I think you told me once that there was a theory floating around the internet that all of the names in the bowl were Prim in the first book.
Yes.
And I was like, I hate that and I think it's dumb. But maybe not, you know, I think it's overwrought.
The theory was that they wanted to break Katniss specifically because they saw revolutionary vibes in her.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, then throw her in.
Right. But then here's the thing. I think if one reason why that theory might exist is if that is what then happens in book 2, is that they go, hey, this year for the quarter quell, it's all family members of previous tributes.
That
doesn't
would
have to be
suck.
sibling. Yeah, but it's like family members of because I don't think, you know, part of being a tribute who is one is that you're safe, right?
Yep.
You're out.
You're out.
So it makes sense that if they wanted to target her, but they can't unless they completely throw everything to the wind, they're gonna go after Prim specifically. And what better way to basically force Prim into the games than to go, hey, guess what? We're just drawing names from the family of previous winners. Yeah. And then it's either going to be Prim or her fucking mom. Because I'm assuming...
do you think that they would go, okay, it's just family members or just family members within that age range?
I don't think they could do family members. Well, I think they probably do...
Because that would really narrow it down.
They tell us Peeta has 3 brothers.
Peeta has 3 brothers.
They go out of their way to talk about Peeta having 3 brothers.
And
so
Gale has 3 siblings.
Well, he wasn't a...
But he's her cousin.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's her cousin.
Oh, they could pull... What if it were Gale
and they say
Prim?
Their names. It's like Vic and Posey.
That's the thing. That's why I was so concerned. Yes. Okay, that was it. Because they name...
And Roy or something.
They name Gale's entire family.
They do.
And I was like, they're not going to do this unless... Suze knows what she's on about. She's going to name people who I have to care about. Which is why Madge has come up twice now. Which is why I'm like, Madge is going to matter later.
And is it a coincidence that Prim and Posey... I'm just saying.
So I think very easily we could see Gale and Prim. And then what the fuck do you do?
Well, but Gale's aged out, right?
Oh shit, I'm sorry, not Gale. Gale's little brother and Prim.
Vic or whatever the other one is.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going. Because I really... Again, I said before, it's not just going to be Katniss does the Hunger Games again, because I think that's just the first book done over. And I think that would be a really interesting iteration on the formula. I think it would put her in a position where instead of being in the thick of the action, she's in the thick of a completely different kind of action.
Sure.
One that we have seen none of.
She's supposed
so
to like
far.
manipulate things so that like other kids die instead of her kids.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
That's fucked up.
And devastating. And it becomes a political novel, right? It becomes a novel of intrigue and a novel of backroom deals and backstabbing rather than a novel of pure action. And not to say she couldn't just write a second novel of pure action.
Does Katniss seem like she'd thrive in a backroom deal situation?
No. That's what's great about
and
it.
She's having to do that with Haymitch, who also doesn't thrive in a backroom deal situation.
Or,
Peeta, who's really good at it.
Who is great at it.
And like theoretically, I believe that the victors usually it's like the girl victor mentors the girl tribute, the boy victor mentors the boy tribute. So if like Katniss is mentoring Prim and Peeta is mentoring his brother.
Yeah.
Wow. Fucked.
Then you're forcing them apart, right? Because it's like, who are you? Okay, great. You would have both gone out together for each other. Are you going to pick him over your sister? Is he going to pick you over his brother?
But publicly they'd have to, right?
Well, then that makes it even more torturous, is they know they have to pick each other.
That'd be pretty fucked.
Yeah, it would be. And then even better, think of it this way. Peeta will have to dedicate his energies towards Prim. Katniss will have to dedicate her energies towards Peeta's brother, right? In this case.
Wouldn't it be in the inverse?
No, I'm saying if they have to help each other, then they will both have to be shunting resources towards the other's sibling. So if either one dies, it's if Prim dies, it's as much Peeta's fault, and then she has to accept,
still act like she loves
him.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of runway here, and I think this same chapter, Gale is like, oh yeah, it's weird. It's disproportionately weird how often the children of other tributes get picked.
He does specifically
because she's like, I'm not having kids because they will. If Peeta and I have kids, they will absolutely end up in the games.
Absolutely,
so we're not having kids because they always do. So the kids of former tributes almost always play because they want to see what it's like when it's someone who's and so I'm like, why would she have brought up all of these disparate things pointing to family of tributes?
So do you think there's a world
siblings.
in which there's like mother-child or father-child victors? Or like family members who are...
It's possible, but it's possible.
Yeah, do you think there's a world in which there are like two victors that are family?
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
From the career districts, I bet. 1, 2, and 4? Yeah, for sure. But like...
So you think like an older sibling or like a parent would go in... Right. And like a younger sibling or a child or something would be like, oh, I want to like follow that. I want to also go.
I don't think they'd. Well, it depends on where they're from.
This one family has like two very mean children. And they're like, who makes winners? That family.
The career families might. I mean, the career districts might.
I mean, you know what? I could see a world in which some of the careers are like, you know what? That was my high school glory days.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want my son to follow in my footsteps. I could totally see a world in which
Cato and Clove had won, 100%.
I always thought Cato and Clove kind of had a thing for each other.
Yeah, probably.
I always thought that because like Cato's so devastated that she dies.
Yeah.
And they're so happy. Like granted, they're happy they don't have to kill each other, period, because they grew up together probably, but... Like, I don't know. I always thought he had a thing for her. She had a thing for him, or he had a thing for her.
I think that if Cato and Clove had been the two left, they would have just let him go.
No, wait. They would have just let him go if it was the two of them?
They would have let him both win.
You do?
Yeah.
I think they would have made him turn on each other.
Might have, but I mean, I think they put that in there specifically to fuck Katniss.
Oh, definitely. But like, I think they don't want two winners because they don't want to show cooperation of any kind. Yeah, but... I think they would have always made him turn on each other.
The careers are the villains every game, right?
That's true. If it's like, oh, look, this one... Of course the fucking careers dominated this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, that's my theory.
I like it. Yeah, but the quarter quell, and they talk about... They occur every 25 years, marking the anniversary of the district's defeat with the over-the-top celebrations and, for extra fun, some miserable twist for the tributes. I've never been alive for one, of course, but in school I remember hearing that for the second quarter quell, the capital demanded that twice the number of tributes be provided for the arena.
Haymitch had to kill 47 people.
The teachers didn't go into much more detail, which is surprising because that was the year District 12's very own Haymitch Abernathy won the crown. Probably because the trauma that Haymitch Abernathy experienced, they don't want like kids on the street running up to him and going, I heard you murdered people and this was how.
So Haymitch is in his late 30s.
Right now?
Late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
If this is 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was between 12 and 18.
I don't think that it's...
12 and 17?
I don't think it's not okay to tell you. I believe he was 15 when he won the games.
Okay, so he's 40.
So he's 40.
Okay.
So
not that that really matters.
He's actually young.
Yeah.
And she said, and if I ever saw his games televised in reruns, that's where you were like, oh my God. I must have been too young to remember it. But the Capitol won't let him forget it this year.
No.
Woo!
So would he and Peeta like flip a coin to see who mentors? Do we know how it
they
works?
decide. I don't remember.
Well, I mean,
Well, maybe they'll go
I'm
into
assuming
it.
we'll find that out later.
In a way, it's a good thing Peeta and I will both be available as mentors during the quell because it's a sure bet that Haymitch will be wasted.
Yeah.
So they're going for girlish, not sexy. You can press it. She's 16, you fucks.
Well, she's... Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, she is. Even if she were 17, it's not better.
And her mom comes in to teach them how to like do this elaborate braid thing.
That was a sweet moment.
Yeah, and they're like really excited and respectful and nice to her. And then she feels kind of bad for feeling better than them. You are better than them, but don't worry about it. But yeah. And she sees Cinna, and he's dressed very simply with just like a hint of gold eyeliner, which is such a slay.
I love this guy. He's gonna die horribly.
Why do you say that?
His name is Cinna.
We'll see.
It's weird that the president doesn't have a capital E name.
Oh, and they have a telephone, which is kind of funny because no one else they know owns one.
Except Madge.
Except there's Peeta, but obviously I don't call him. Haymitch tore his out of the wall years ago.
Yeah.
My friend Madge, the mayor's daughter, has a telephone in her house, but if we want to talk, we do in
fucking
person.
Madge, we call her my friend Madge. What's going on here?
They pick Madge. Madge goes.
R.I.P.
Rip Madge, the girl who gave her the pin.
The pin girl.
The girl who was a pin.
Yeah.
Madge is on pins and needles to find out what's going to happen at the quarter quell.
Oh, your talent, right. We get into this.
Yeah, so he says that he'll help her develop her talent for designing clothes. Because
he just designs
because every
clothes.
victor is supposed to have a talent, an activity you take up since you don't have to work in either in school or your district's
like
industry.
The Ponderosa videos.
So like
on Survivor.
you know what? You're 14. You don't need to know math. Like fuck it.
Fuck it. You're done.
You're done for the rest of your life. And so he's letting her develop her passion for designing clothes. And she said yes to that because she'd get to talk to Cinna.
Which means that he designs clothes and tells her, you made this.
Yeah. So he's arranging all the like sketchbooks with designs he's drawn. I pick up one of the sketchbooks and examine a dress I supposedly created. You know, I think I show a lot of promise. Get dressed, you worthless thing.
And Peeta's painting, and he's going, Frosty the paint boy.
So...
And then Effie fucking... God damn it! Just when I thought things were going well.
Yeah, so she gets a little traumatized with seeing Prim because she sees Rue, who she didn't save. And it's all very traumatizing.
Oh yeah, she's like a full-on flashback thing, doesn't she?
Well, yeah, because Cinna puts earmuffs on her and says, you're bringing earmuffs back in style. And she hates earmuffs because it reminds her of when she was blasted deaf in the arena. And then Madge gives her her mother gives her the fucking pin that Madge gave her.
Just a little revolutionary. You can have a little revolution as a treat.
We have a subtle rev.
A faint rev.
A nod to the rev.
A 1/3 rev.
A 1/3 rev. It's not a banana, it's bana. And then we keep going.
Was that the what was the bana? What was
banana? But it's just the bana.
Wait, I can do better. That?
That's it. So yeah, Effie shoves them out the door.
And then she jumps into Peeta's arms and they fall over and make out and fall over and get on the train and make out. And then
oh wait, no. First she talks to Haymitch.
They make out first, see?
What? Oh my god!
He catches me and spins me around, and then he slips. He still isn't entirely in command of his artificial leg, and we fall into the snow, me on top of him, and that's where we have our first kiss in months. It's full of fur, and snowflakes, and lipstick, but underneath all that, I can feel the steadiness that Peeta brings to everything, and I know I'm not alone.
As badly as I have hurt him, he won't expose me in front of the cameras, won't condemn me with a half-hearted kiss. He's still looking out for me, just as he did in the arena. Somehow the thought makes me want to cry. Instead, I pull him to his feet, tuck my glove through the crook of his arm, and merrily pull him on our way. That's so sad. So then she goes to Haymitch. What do you want? I love him. I have to talk to you. Now. This better be good. She says, the train's so stuffy. It's a harmless phrase, but I see Haymitch's eyes narrow in understanding. I know what you need. So he kind of lets them out for fresh air, and ostensibly so they can't be overheard. So I tell him everything about the president's visit, about Gale, about how we're going to die if I fail. His face sobers, grows older in the glow of the red taillights. Then you can't fail. If you could just help me get through this trip. No, Katniss, it's not just this trip. What do you mean? Even if you pull it off, they'll be back in another few months to take us all to the games, you and Peeta. You'll be mentors now every year from here on out. And every year they'll revisit the romance and broadcast the details of your private life. And you'll never, ever be able to do anything but live happily ever after with this boy. The full impact of what he's saying hits me. I will never have a life with Gale, even if I want to. I will never be allowed to live alone. I will have to be forever in love with Peeta. The Capitol will insist on it. I'll have a few years maybe because I'm still only 16 to stay with my mother and Prim. And then, do you understand what I mean? I nod. He means there's only one future. If I want to keep those I love alive and stay alive myself, I'll have to marry Peeta. Throw them in jail!
Oh, it's agonizing.
It's terrible! And we're back.
Yes. And I do have notes for chapter 4.
We took a brief sojourn.
We took a full day break.
Now we're back.
All right, chapter 4. Hey, Effie, you fuck. Yes, Suze, drag the fact that men can get ready for things in 5 minutes. We deserve that.
Yeah, for real.
Normalize leg hair.
Normalize leg hair.
I want to slaughter Flavius. I don't remember what he said.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he said something
shitty,
yeah.
This puts Effie into quite a state. She pulls out her schedule and begins to work out how the delay will impact every event for the rest of our lives. I'm screaming.
That's you.
Yes. Peeta's painting's fucking me up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, of course they have special fucking platforms for the dead tributes' families.
Oh, yeah, they gotta look at them.
Oh, Katniss, that was a nice speech, but I don't know, girl, I wouldn't.
Nah.
They just did a public execution on Whistly Joe.
Whistly Joe. No. The old man fucks me up every time.
Katniss, I'm gonna save the districts. Katniss starts a bloody revolution. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll edit that in.
So they go back to the train, and Haymitch says, you could do a lot worse, you know, about Peeta. That isn't really the point, though, is it? One of the few freedoms we have in District 12 is the right to marry who we want or not marry at all. And now even that has been taken away from me. I wonder if President Snow will insist we have children.
Yes.
If we do, they'll have to face the reaping each year.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be something to see the child of not one, but two victors chosen for the arena?
Why are we talking about victors' families in the arena, I wonder?
Victor's children have been in the ring before.
If I'm wrong about this, it's going to be really funny.
It always causes a lot of excitement and generates talk about how the odds are not in that family's favor. But it happens too frequently to just be about odds. Gale's convinced the Capitol does it on purpose, rigs the drawings to add extra drama.
You think?
Given all the trouble I've caused, I've probably guaranteed any child of mine a spot in the games.
Yes.
That sucks. I think of Haymitch, unmarried, no family, blotting out the world with drink. He could have his choice of any woman in the district, and he chose solitude. Not solitude, that sounds too peaceful. More like solitary confinement. Was it because, having been in the arena, he knew it was better than risking the alternative? What do you think?
Probably.
So he's got no family at all. That sucks. So Effie raps on her door, and she's got to do her makeover. And Katniss is like, why? It's too cold for anything to show. Not in District 11. So yeah, they go to District 11.
Welcome to the South, which is under unfucking believable amounts of security.
Mm-hmm.
They have like 30-foot concrete walls and armed guards. Yeah, I know. I guess fuck Cole.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, who's going to steal that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Versus food, which everybody
needs.
Yeah, so they save the district of the victor for the very last, and they usually start at 12 and go back to 1 and skip over the district and then go back.
Congratulations, here's a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's all we have. We all pitched in for this sandwich.
And they start at 12 because it usually puts on the least fabulous situation.
Peeta's like, I baked the bread.
Celebration, sorry, not situation. The final stop on the tour will be 12, and the Capitol will spring for the festivities. Yeah, because they're poor. That's why.
Yes.
That's why it's not the best festivities. Ugh. Yeah, so Peeta needs to be prepped, but not the same way that Katniss does. She got to spend the morning having the hair ripped off her body.
Boo.
Ouch.
Let women be hairy.
For real. Oh, this is why you said fuck Flavius. It's a shame Cinna said no alterations on you.
Boo. Boo. Wood chipper. Boo.
Yes, we could really make you something special.
Boo.
When she's older. Then he'll have to let us.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she's thinking about all the different things that they can do to people, like give them curved talons or cat whiskers, which is fucking weird. My favorite thing is people often compare the Met Gala to the Capitol.
Whoa. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Huh.
They're like, how dystopian the Met Gala looks. And I'm always like, whoo. I mean, because they're like, people are starving, but also the Met Gala. Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. Everything's fine. So she's not really talking to anybody. She's eating some broth. She snaps at Effie at one point and says, like, no one cares about the schedule. But really, it's just for, she's like, oh, they all think I have bad manners, but really it's trauma. Which is why I'm always like, maybe we should give people the benefit of the doubt on things,
Does help.
I think most people are not trying to be an inconvenience.
Usually not. And then Peeta has this lovely, oh God, right, because he's like, it's okay, we can just be friends. And she's like, your timing is shit, bro. It's so bad. But I can't tell you that yet, because we're still not telling you things for some reason.
Yeah, he says, look, Katniss, I've been wanting to talk to you about the way I acted on the train. I mean, the last train. The one that brought us home. I knew you had something with Gale. I was jealous of him before I even officially met you. And it wasn't fair to hold you to anything that happened in the games. I'm sorry.
Your timing is bad.
She says, I'm sorry too. And he says, there's nothing for you to be sorry about. You were just keeping us alive. But I don't want to go on like this, ignoring each other in real life and falling into the snow every time there's a camera around. So I thought if I stopped being, wounded, we could take a shot at just being friends. All my friends are probably going to end up dead.
This is very big of him. This is very big of him. This is good,
And she says, okay. He says, so what's wrong? I can't tell him. I pick at a clump of weeds. Let's start with something more basic. Isn't it strange that I know you'd risk your life to save mine, but I don't know what your favorite color is?
That's funny.
It's so cute. Green, what's yours? Orange. Orange, like Effie's hair.
Boo.
A bit more muted.
She's the worst.
More like sunset. Shut up. You're so cute. They're so cute.
And we look at his paintings, and they're devastating,
she apologizes.
and beautiful, and depressing, and
he asks her,
and like upsetting in a good way.
He asks her, "What do you think?" I hate them.
Yeah, and so does he, though, right?
All I do is go around trying to forget the arena, and you brought it back to life. How do you remember these things so exactly? I see them every night. Yeah, he has nightmares. And Katniss has nightmares, and I also have nightmares, but they're unrelated. And she asks if it helps. I don't know. I think I'm a little less afraid of going to sleep at night, or I tell myself I am, but they haven't gone anywhere. Maybe they won't. Haymitch's hasn't. No, and he says no, but for me, it's better to wake up with a paintbrush than a knife in my hand. Oh. And they go to take a look at District 11. There's tons of security. What do you think about District 11, Gus? Seem like a fun place?
No,
it sucks.
It's the agriculture district. It's a bad thing.
Yeah, I feel like
place.
Travelocity would be like, no, not a fun place to be. Lots of bad reviews.
TripAdvisor would be like, a trip avoider. Am I right?
Damn it. I was looking for something funny to say and you got there first.
You pretty much go right into their speeches, right? Or like they get all the general stuff, and then she's like, all right, I'm going to crush this. I'm going to do exactly what he wants me to do. I'm going to quell rebellion. Everybody's looking at me very seriously.
Oh, she's also very confused too, because the population of District 11 seems like it's a lot bigger than they show on camera.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's like, the kids that they show on camera must be like a fraction of the kids that you actually end up seeing. And she's like, so then how the fuck did Rue get picked? Like, how do they work this here?
All the drawings were Rue.
Because she's like, it was all Rue. Because she's like, do they do like preliminary drawings for like who has to be on camera?
They might. That would make sense.
Maybe.
Also, the Peacekeepers seem to be much shittier.
I know. They're even like, because Katniss was like bantering with the ones in 12.
Yeah. It seems like 12, for being the poor district, is also perhaps one of the more lax security districts.
Well, it's kind of the district no one really gives a fuck about, I think, in terms of like...
the forgotten district.
Yeah, they're kind of like, whatever. Versus the food district, where they're like, all right, we're going to be on your ass every second of the day because the food matters. And, Rue did give us an insight into how much it sucks because, like, a kid got killed for taking goggles at one point.
Yeah.
Like, night vision goggles. Like, that sucks. That's objectively bad.
The other thing
bad
is,
working conditions.
If you run away in Appalachia, you're going to end up in a cave, probably.
Yeah.
And then nobody's ever going to see you again. Whereas if you run away in the South, there's a lot more places, I feel like, that are not caves that will kill you.
Yeah.
Did you know that the Appalachian Mountains are older than bones?
Yes, I did know that. I saw that recently.
Bones.
Older than bones.
Bones.
That's wild.
And
that's why I'm like, there's shit in those mountains.
There are caves in there that are older than bones.
That's why I believe it when people are like, there's a lot of shit in the Appalachian Mountains. You got to be careful. I believe it. They're older than bones.
People might be wondering, what do you mean older than bones? Think evolutionarily, when did bones develop as a thing on planet Earth? The mountains were around before that.
That's so wild.
They're older than sharks.
I think, they're older than sharks. Aren't they older than trees?
They might be older than trees.
I think they're older than trees. They're really old, which is why I'm like, there could be some shit in there that we don't know about. We don't know what's in our oceans. Not really. Not fully. Am I right?
Parts of them.
We don't know fully what's in the Amazon.
I don't know anything about that.
I was reading about it recently.
I don't know shit about the Amazon, apparently.
Oh, you should read The Lost City of Z.
Yeah, you said that was good.
It's so good. And it also made me convinced that I should never leave the house.
Yeah.
That and Into Thin Air with John Krakauer. Because you start that book and you're like, wow, climbing Mount Everest, what a cool thing. And then you're like,
never mind.
Never mind.
My mom went through an Everest phase.
I know she did.
She read like every single book about Everest when she was in her late 50s. And like watched all these Everest movies and did all this Everest stuff. And I was like, do you have not Everest, but do you have any interest in like any kind of climbing yourself? And she went, oh, no.
No, but it's super fascinating.
But I'm going to read every single book about Everest.
The Amazon's super interesting. Like there's whole people that live in there that we can't contact because our diseases are not their diseases.
That was a mountain. No. I'm sorry. That's an island.
There also is an island.
North Signal.
There's a few places with people
Signal Island
who have no idea what the internet is. There are a few places where we just don't there's an island where they actively don't want us there. Like they actively don't want us there. I think a couple times some missionaries were like, I'm going to try.
North Sentinel
Island. And they killed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want us there. And you know what? That's valid. That's my opinion. That's completely valid.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, sorry.
It's interesting.
Oh, and Effie is like, why are they behaving so weirdly towards us? We're not being feted at all. And Katniss is like, well, don't worry about it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Is this when she snaps at... Yeah, she snaps at Effie because like, the train breaks down for a minute before this when she goes out to talk to Peeta. The train breaks down and she yells at Effie and storms out. And then Peeta comes to talk to her.
And then he's like, you got to apologize.
And then she goes back and she says something like, I give her a 5-minute apology, which feels...
Oh, like overkill.
Deliberately gratuitous and deliberately like it's way too much. So that should be just enough for Effie.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, do I hate Effie? Yeah. Is she funny as fuck?
She's funny as fuck. Susan's funny. Susan's funny as hell. My favorite line in the first Hunger Games that my friend and I in college had like a meme about.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
Is when Katniss stabs the table, because you've seen this scene. Katniss stabs the table at one point over because Haymitch is being annoying, and Effie just looks at her and goes, "That is mahogany." And I watched the movie again when you were at acting class the other night because I was like, I want to watch it again. And I literally texted Eric. I was like, that is mahogany. And he comes back to me and he's like, my God, I was so obsessed with those movies at one point. So yeah, she's upset because like the peacekeepers are very, like they put them in the back of an armored truck. And Effie thinks that, they're treating them like criminals. And Katniss thinks, not all of us, Effie, just me.
Yeah.
Fuck. She's got some microphones. They get on the stage. There's loud applause.
She's like, all right, I'm going to crush it. And then Peeta does his thing. And then he goes, by the way, apropos of nothing, each of us is going to give a month per year of our food to your families. And she's like, oh, shit. Okay, he went off script. So, rather than being a spineless piece of shit, I'm going to specifically thank District 11. I'm going to specifically make an overture to the people.
Yeah, and
specifically thank them for their sacrifice of their children, because without them, we wouldn't have been here. And I'm specifically going to say some stuff that foments a community atmosphere between districts.
Which is exactly what they do not...
The opposite of what this is
want
for.
You to do. All you had to do was go, hey, thanks for the bread. Have a great day. And like, that would have been fine. And by the way, I'm in love with Peeta. Did you know?
Even thanks for the bread would probably have been too much.
Yeah, probably she shouldn't have acknowledged the bread at all.
Because she was like, I'm sorry that Rue died. She was wonderful and beautiful. Did you know I buried her in flowers? And also Thresh was amazing and he let me live even though he didn't have to. And the people of District 11 are wonderful and very strong. And if you all got together and put your minds on any one thing...
You could do anything you ever put your mind to.
And capital Haymitch is just back there going,
no, God, please, no, no.
He's like,
no.
Do you actively want death for you and your loved ones? Like, did you not like Prim that much, actually?
Oh, God.
Did you change your mind in the arena? And you're like, you know what? Fuck Prim.
Just in case I didn't make it clear enough that it's not only limited to the specific families. Everyone here helped me have some nice bread, and therefore all of you helped, and I feel community with all of you.
Oh my God.
Good night, everybody.
My favorite thing is the president came to Katniss and gave her a direct order to act right or he'd kill Gale, and she was like, you know what?
I hate that guy.
I'm going to put on a great performance, and she proceeds to shit the bed entirely.
It's great. Oh, it's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
She fucked up. So, and this is going to be the district that's pissed off, right?
Uh-huh.
The district that they have their eye on and they're worried about.
Yeah. It's
And
not the
she
fucking career
completely
district.
fucks this up.
It's the district that she had community with.
It's also the first district she visited.
Day one of the tour.
Day one of the tour. She's like, you know what? Fuck Gail, apparently.
Oh my God. And it's like...
I'm amazed, like, Haymitch didn't run her through, like, hey, you know what you shouldn't say?
Anything
Any of that.
about Thresh or don't go off script.
Don't acknowledge any of it. Here's your script. Say, hey, I killed your kids.
My bad.
Not
Fuck
even
y'all.
my bad. Not even my bad. I killed your kids.
Fuck all
I
y'all.
win.
I'm out. Suck my
I
dick.
am in love with Peeta.
I yield my time. Fuck you.
Healed my time. Fuck you. Yeah, but so she has to look at Thresh's family. There's like a special stage for the families.
Like Thresh's grandma or something.
It's an old woman with a hunched back and a tall, muscular girl, I'm guessing is his sister. On Rue's, I'm not prepared for Rue's family. Her parents, whose faces are still fresh with sorrow. Her 5 younger siblings who resemble her so closely. The slight builds, the luminous brown eyes. They form a flock of small, dark birds.
She's like, I'm going to kill all these people right now. Here we go.
I'm gonna just,
So she does these...
shit the bed entirely.
Does these speeches.
Yeah. So, yeah, Peeta had his personal comments written on a card.
Yeah. Oh, the dog is getting comfy. Okay.
And yeah,
she did too, and
he
she sticks
says
to the
that
script at
he'll
first.
give them a little money. He's also completely unaware that his life is on the line here.
No.
Completely
Not
unaware.
his fault.
No one
We
bothers to
didn't
fucking tell him, like, hey, maybe read the comments on the card that we gave you, the prepared script. Don't go off script at all. So yeah, he says it can in no way replace your losses, but as a token of our thanks, we'd like for each of the tributes families from District 11 to receive 1 month of our winnings every year for the duration of our lives.
Dog, good idea, but no.
But like, fucking do it anonymously. Oh, you stupid boy. So that's bad because everyone's like, whoa, and talking about it. And their lives are changed forever, but this gift will change them. It could easily provide for a family for a year. And then she notices one of Rue's sisters staring at her.
And she's like, well, I better fuck this up.
She's
too.
like, I better completely fuck this up. So she goes forward. She says, I want to give my thanks to the tributes of District 11. I only ever spoke to Thresh one time, but just long enough for him to spare my life. I didn't know him, but I always respected him. For his power, for his refusal to play the games on anyone's terms but his own. Jesus Christ, Katniss.
Like, literally 5 seconds of thought here.
The careers wanted him to team up with them from the beginning, but he wouldn't do it. I respected him for that. And the old woman starts to kind of smile, and the crowd has fallen silent. And she turns to Rue's family. But I feel as if I did know Rue, and she'll always be with me. Everything beautiful brings her to mind. I see her in the yellow flowers that grow in the meadow by my house.
Girl, no.
I see her in the mockingjays that sing in the trees. But most of all, I see her in my sister Prim. Thank you for your children.
Let's specifically bring up how much she loves Prim again.
So there's a long pause.
And they start, you've seen the gif of the guy from, I think it's Hot Fuzz loading the shotgun going, oh, shame.
Shame. There's a long pause. Then from somewhere in the crowd, someone whistles Rue's 4-note mockingjay tune, the one that signaled the end of the workday in the orchards, the one that meant safety in the arena. By the end of the tune, I have found the whistler, a wizened old man in a faded red shirt and overalls. His eyes met mine. So I would be like definitely doing that, but I'd definitely be like tying my shoe or some shit. I would duck the fuck down before I did that. Anyway, what happens next is not an accident. It is too well executed to be spontaneous because it happens in complete unison. Every person in the crowd presses the 3 middle fingers of their left hand against their lips and extends them to me. It's our sign from District 12, the last goodbye I gave Rue in the arena. If I hadn't spoken to President Snow, this gesture might move me to tears. But you did, and you fucked up. But with his recent orders to calm the districts fresh in my ears, it fills me with dread. Yeah, it should. It should. You fucked up, Katniss. You missed. He had one directive for you. And you shit the bed day fucking one.
It's so bad.
She can't help herself but be a revolutionary. She accidentally bumbles her ass into revolutions right and left.
Yep.
The full impact of what I've done hits me. It was not intentional. I only meant to express my thanks, but I have elicited something dangerous, an act of dissent from the people of District 11. It was nice knowing Gail, wasn't it? This is exactly the kind of thing I'm supposed to be diffusing. Run. Yeah, you are. I try to think of something to say to undermine what has just happened, to negate it.
Psych.
But I can hear...
Just say, psych.
Psych, fuck you kids. Fuck them kids. But that I can hear the slight burst of static indicating my microphone has been cut off.
I bet.
And the mayor has taken over.
Took him a minute.
I know. Really, they're going to kill the person who failed to kill the mics. Peeta and I acknowledge a final round of applause. He leads me back toward the doors, unaware that anything has gone wrong. I feel funny and I have to stop for a moment. Little bits of bright sunshine dance before my eyes. Are you all right? Just dizzy. The sun was so bright. I forgot my flowers. I'll get them. I can. It would be safe inside the Justice Building, but we would be safe inside the Justice Building by now if I hadn't stopped. If I hadn't left my flowers. Instead, from the deep shade of the veranda, I see the whole thing. A pair of peacekeepers dragging the old man who whistled to the top of the steps, forcing him to his knees before the crowd, and putting a bullet through his head.
Well, that sucks.
Fuck! And now we'll break for ads.
All right, we're back. We're going to make short work of Chapter 5 because this episode's getting really fucking long.
It is.
I only have one note. Peeta just fucking throwing everything because he's angry. All right, that's it.
Yep.
He just starts throwing things.
Yeah, he's pissed. So she hurries over and says, "We lost the feed just after Katniss's beautiful speech."
Effie, yeah.
And then
because they go like, "What happened?" And then we get to the point where
she runs over. Effie runs over and says, "What happened? We lost the feed just after Katniss's beautiful speech. Then Hamish said he thought he heard a gunfire. I said it was ridiculous, but who knows? There are lunatics everywhere. It was your fucking people." Anyway, so they lie to her, but there's more gunshots.
Yeah, and then we get
and she's
alone
like,
with...
oh shit, who's dead now?
We get alone with Hamish and Peeta, and Peeta's like, well, y'all gotta fucking tell me things, okay? Because y'all have been fucking holding shit from me for goddamn ever. And they go, all right, you have to pretend you're in love forever. Whether or not you are, it doesn't matter, or you're all gonna die.
Yeah.
And so will everybody else you care about.
So, yeah. So Katniss is like...
Also, you should not have given them money, you dumb fuck.
And yeah, Katniss tells him everything. And he says, then I made things worse too by giving the money.
You did.
Suddenly, he strikes out at a lamp that sits precariously on a crate and knocks it across the room where it shatters to the floor. This has to stop. Right now, this game you two play where you tell each other secrets but keep them from me like I'm too inconsequential or stupid or weak to handle them. And yeah, and he's like, I have people I care about too, Katniss. Family and friends back in District 12 who will be just as dead as yours if we don't pull this thing off. So after all we went through in the arena, don't I ever even rate the truth from you? So yeah. And he's freaking out that he screwed up.
He did.
And is freaking out about what's going to happen to Rue and Thresh's families.
And Hamish roasts, he yells at Hamish, is like, of course you two have a fucking special relationship. He gave you shit, he didn't give me anything. And Katniss is like, that's not how it happens. And then Hamish leaves, and she's like, was that how it happened? And Hamish is like, that was exactly how it happened. I only gave you stuff because I was like, only one of them can live. It's going to be her. Yeah,
he said, don't bother, Hamish. I know you had to choose one of us, and I'd have wanted it to be her. But this is something different. People are dead out there. More will follow unless we're very good. We all know I'm better than Katniss in front of the cameras. No one needs to coach me on what to say, but I have to know what I'm walking into. From now on, you'll be fully informed. I better be. And Katniss asks, yeah, did you choose me? And he says, yeah. She goes, why? You like him better. That's true. But remember, until they changed the rules, I could only hope to get one of you out of there alive. Mm-hmm. I thought since he was determined to protect you, well, between the three of us, we might be able to bring you home.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And he says, you'll see the choices you'll have to make if we survive this. You'll learn. So they've got dinner, and they go to dinner, and Effie's uncomfortable with how she's been treated.
I love her, but she's so...
Well, this is the first time she's probably toured any of the other districts. She's only ever been to 12.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Right? Because she's the person that pulls people for that particular district. So this is the first time she's seen any other district, and this one she did not vibe with.
No.
And she looked at the Justice Building, and then one of them the peacekeepers showed up and
hustled everybody out because they couldn't find
and hustled her out
Peeta.
and poked her with a gun, and she's upset about that, which makes sense. She got poked with a gun. That'd be upsetting.
Yeah.
And she did tell Peeta about the kiss with Gale. And
then they
pretty much go through the rest of the
They do
tour.
all of the districts and they do it all right. And then when they get to the capital, this whole thing reads so much like just a nonstop panic attack. And it's so good.
She does say, hold on. She does say, but in some of the districts, particularly 8, 4, and 3, there's a genuine elation in the faces of the people at the sight of us. And under the elation, fury.
Oh, 4. Interesting.
When they chant my name, it is more of a cry for vengeance than a cheer. I mean, note, 4 is not, just because they give tributes and have careers does not necessarily mean that they like what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like a brutal efficiency to what they're doing, but every year there's at least one family in the district that's grieving a loved one.
Yeah, no, that's real.
And over the years, that's how many kids?
At least 74.
Yeah.
Probably more like 100 to 130.
So there's at least
140.
100 families that have lost somebody, unless they've had some repeats. So I'm pretty sure they're probably pissed.
But this whole thing reads like a breakdown panic attack, and it's great. It's quick and it's frenzied, and it's just get through the thing. And then she's the one who suggests that. And
she's sleeping with Peeta every night because she's so freaked out.
Yeah.
At one point,
just
she's screaming in the middle of the night because Cinna's giving her drugs to sleep. Or no, Effie's giving her sleeping pills and they don't work, and she's screaming at night. Peeta comes and he lies in bed with her.
The worst thing is, one of the worst things is they're both having total breakdowns off camera and holding each other to try and have some semblance of security while they go to sleep. And the reaction is ooh, it's the most sickening thing. It's so good. I hate it.
What part?
They are co-sleeping, not in a sexy way. They're literally just sleeping in bed together because they're the only person who can possibly be a stable thing in this environment. And the reaction is ooh, how titillate. Ooh, look at them sneaking off.
Are they fucking?
It's, oh my God. Yeah. It's revolting. It's horrible.
And again, they're 16 years old.
Yeah. And every time I think it can't get worse, it gets worse. And then she's like, I'll propose to you at the Capitol. And he's like, fine, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have to get married. They do.
I like this. Hey,
Oh, but first, they go to districts 2 and 1, and it's a special kind of awful. Cato and Clove, the tributes from District 2, might have both made it home if Peeta and I hadn't. I personally killed the girl, Glimmer, and the boy from District 1. As I try to avoid looking at his family, I learned that his name was Marvel. How did I never know that? I suppose that before the games I didn't pay attention, and afterward I didn't want to know. So then they get to the Capitol, they're desperate, everything's super frenzied and scary. There's no danger of uprising among the privileged, because their children never die, so they don't need to convince anybody, but it feels like too little too late. Back in our old quarters in the training center, I'm the one who suggests the public marriage proposal. Peeta agrees to do it, but then disappears to his room for a long time. Haymitch tells me to leave him alone. I thought he wanted it anyway. Not like this. He wanted it to be real. I know. That night on the stage before the training center, we bubble our way through a list of questions. Caesar Flickerman, in his twinkling midnight blue suit, his hair, eyelids, and lips still dyed powder blue, flawlessly guides us through the interview. When he asks us about the future, Peeta gets down on one knee, pours out his heart, and begs me to marry him. I, of course, accept. Caesar is beside himself. The Capitol audience is hysterical. Shots of crowds around Pan Am show a country besotted with happiness. President Snow himself makes a surprise visit to congratulate us. He clasps Peeta's hand and gives him an approving slap on the shoulder. He embraces me, enfolding me in the smell of blood and roses, gross, and plants a puffy kiss on my cheek. When he pulls back his fingers, digging into my arms, his face smiling into mine, I dare to raise my eyebrows. They ask what my lips can't. Did I do it? Was it enough? Was giving everything over to you, keeping up the game, promising to marry Peeta enough? In answer, he gives an almost imperceptible shake of his head.
Horrible. And even this wasn't enough. What the fuck? I mean, I think it was done as soon as they got to District. They were done.
She was fucked after District 11.
They were done.
She should have told Peeta. She should have told Peeta from the beginning because he fucked it up first, but then she fucked it up worse.
She doubled, tripled, and quadrupled
She
down.
fucked it up the most, but he started the fuck up. Like, it did not go well from the beginning. And he's realizing that too. He's like, oh shit, Katniss.
Whoops.
Like, I just completely fucked up. And if you had told me that, I wouldn't have done any of that.
No! God, please, no! No!
Yeah. So, fuck.
Well,
So yeah,
this is
it wasn't
horrible,
enough.
and I love it. Can I read 7 more chapters and cry?
I think this week I will let you read to chapter 12. That
through
seems
chapter
fair.
12, I believe.
Through
And
chapter 12.
maybe it'll take us 2 episodes to talk about it all,
It might.
because I think we went for 2 hours just now.
Yeah, it might. But this was fun.
No, it was great. I'm thrilled. I'm going to read many chapter.
You're going to read many chapters. So, yeah, we'll finish off on page 173.
All right. Oh, God. I don't
Unless
want
somebody messages me and goes, that's too many chapters.
Allie, I think I should only read 7 fucking words. I think that would be better.
I think 7 fucking words would be good.
I'm kidding.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We have a Twitter if you would like to keep in touch with all things Wheel Takes. We have a TikTok. We have an Instagram.
Just say social media.
We've got
all
others. So, okay. Well, you know what? For the first time in a while, I haven't said we had a podcast.
Yeah, I missed it.
And we also have a merch store. We have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. And anything else, Gus?
Can people leave a rating or a review if they want?
They can.
They could
leave
do
a
it.
rating or
Helps a
review
lot.
if you also want to support us that way. That's super helpful. Anything else, Gus?
Matrimonial bliss, more like matrimonial hiss.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Go read this book.